Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the NRX. Over the past decade, I've been making a couple NR 2003 leagues on and off. Many of the times they don't really succeed, but there has been a couple times where we've seen some fantastic racing on this channel. And with the summer of 2023 about to kick off, I thought it'd be a pretty interesting idea to revitalize the NR 2003 series I've done in the past. That way you guys got something to watch on my channel right now, especially since Random Cuts is really struggling because of how Stop Motion Studio refuses to work anymore. But that's a story for another day. Today, I wanted to talk about what the NRX is going to be and how it's going to work, and of course giving some important information, including signups and when the first race is going to premiere. Now, when I posted the teaser for the NRX, a lot of people were shocked with the amount of races we're going to be seeing this season, as we're going to be seeing a grand total of 55 races in the first season. I know, that sounds absolutely insane, right? How will I be able to do 55 races in 55 weeks? That sounds impossible. And it is. There's absolutely no way for me to do 55 races and actually make it to the end if we were doing a traditional schedule. Now, once I explain what the NRX schedule is and how it's going to work, these 55 races won't really sound so crazy. So here's a quick rundown of how the NRX's schedule is going to work. Instead of every single race, every single weekend for 55 weeks, which is going to be impossible for how well I've done in the past, I've instead decided to split up the season into 11 little mini-series. These mini-series will be known as cups, with every single cup being 5 races long and showcasing a different region of racetracks. Many of these cups will go on to showcase tracks in a specific state, and thus we'll be having plenty of variety throughout the schedule, from the biggest of superspeedways to the smallest of local short tracks, road courses, street courses, and everything in between. And these cups will also be helping determine the NRX champion. Basically, how the points are going to work is that every single cup will function like a regular season with points like usual. However, once the cup is over, the current points leader at the time will win the cup and the points are reset for the next cup. Then, once the season is over, whoever has the most cup wins will win the championship. If there's a tie, the champion will be determined by who has the most points out of the cup winners. So to put in simpler terms, this is like the points format equivalent to what you'd see in Mario Kart. And I feel like this would definitely help out with the schedule, as that way I only have to make 5 races at a time instead of making all 55 one week after another. Now we move on to the race formats, as there are going to be 3 different formats of racing depending on the track we're at. The first of which is what's going to be known as the dash format. It's basically going to be like a regular race. All the drivers are going to be on the track with one race. Whoever wins the race wins it all together. This format is going to be used at the bigger racetracks, since we have plenty of space to hold all the drivers. The second format is going to be known as simply the heat format. The field will be split into half, and then we will have 2 heat races as well as a final event. The heat races will determine who's going to be in the final event, with the top 5 in those heats advancing to the final race. Then, it's going to be a 10-car dash for the finish in the final event. This is the format we're going to be seeing at the smaller, more local short tracks, which makes plenty of sense because this is the type of racing you see at these local short track races. And finally, the third and last format is what I'm going to be calling the XL Heat format. Basically the same as the Heat format, but instead of the top 5 advancing, it's going to be the top 10 advancing for a 20-car dash for the finish. This is going to be sort of the format you're going to be seeing at some of the bigger tracks that aren't capable of holding 36 cars, which is the amount of cars you're going to be seeing in this season. 2 of the biggest examples include Laguna Seca and Detroit Belle Isle. This format's going to be the least common out of the bunch, but we're definitely going to be seeing a couple races with this format throughout the season. The 2 heat divisions will be known as the Sapphire Division and the Emerald Division, and the drivers who are in those divisions will be announced once the signups begin. Basically, you'll be able to see which division you're going to be in, depending on the car you choose. As I already mentioned, there is going to be a grand total of 36 teams in this season, with every single car having 100% stats. So regardless on what car you choose, nobody has an advantage over another driver. Now, of course, comes probably two of the biggest questions that we're going to be having with this video. First things first, of course, when's the signups? The NRX signups will go live Friday, June 2nd at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Once the signups go up, you will be using a Google form to sign up for the series. Do not use the comments in the YouTube video, you will be ignored. It'll be a little bit easier for me to find out who got the ride first in the form of the Google Forms. Rules are relatively simple, it's first come, first serve. Please use a first and last name. If you don't feel comfortable using your real first and last name, you can make up your own, but make it sound realistic. Please do not use usernames because I want to make this sound as realistic as possible. 2 drivers have already been confirmed for the NRX, of course. Those 2 drivers being Eli Cars, driving the number 70 Lego car, and Noah Cars in the number 92 Hot Wheels car. And last, but certainly not least, when is the first race? The first NRX race will premiere Tuesday, July 3rd at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Where's it taking place? I'm not telling you. That's going to be the best part with all these cups. Every single cup will be revealed one at a time. So, that adds a little bit more mystery and a little bit more hype to these races. The first cup will be announced a week before the season begins. And with that being said, the NRX's grand reveal has come to an end. If you have any more questions about this series, you can ask them in the comments below, and I'll answer them to the best of my abilities. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all for the signups later this week. Thank you guys so much for watching, and see you next time.